Hi guys. My name is Nosi. Um, I live in the UK, in England, and I'm in part 4 of the questions to empower social workers. I still maintain never ever pay to be empowered. Come on YouTube, talk to me, talk to other people. If I don't have an answer, I will search and come back. You will get your future, you will get your dreams. I regard myself as one of the people who are intelligent in my own right. Once I'm taught something, I will pass it to you. Once I read something, I will pass it to you. And also with interviews, they were impressed by my responses, but I chose to come where I am because of various reasons, and that is why I'm here. Never pay. This is part 4. I guess that's the last part of questions, and then after that I will give you 4 things to note during assessments, because assessments are key here, because mostly they recruit social workers who work with children. They do recruit adult social workers, but mostly they work with children, so you will do risk assessment. So that is where I will empower you, things to note, and then after that I will come with many other. I will respond to the questions that I'm asked and tell you about relocation, how you can relocate. For now, I talk about social work because this is what I like. I'm proud to be a social worker. I change lives. I know social work theories that someone who's not a social worker didn't study. I have a master's degree. So don't you dare undermine my profession when you don't know the skills I have, the theories that I have, the complex cases that we resolve. I heard of someone one day saying they had an argument with a social worker and said it was a profession that she could do telephonically and pass it, and I laughed, and I wanted to be the one who was on the receiving hand, because I would have given her the telephone and said, do it now. It's easy for people to say, because that person had only metric in her own life, and she said, you think it's a better profession. It is a better profession, guys. In all the skills that I have, it is one profession that has given me peace of mind, because I changed life. When I was a researcher, I'm still a researcher, by the way, because I'm studying, and okay, let me not reveal that part. Let me talk on this one. I'm still studying. So you deal with papers. You don't see yourself changing lives. But with social work, you change lives. You're part of a life-changing process. Guys, you are doing a great job. Do not let anybody who knows nothing to undermine your profession. Let's go back. So this question is, what aspects do you consider when planning to do a visit on a child who's on a child protection plan? I'm not going to say question what, because I'll be confusing these questions. Answer is, there are 3 types of plan. I think I said already. Child in need plan, as in section 17, child protection plan, section 47, and a child in care plan. Remember, I told you about the difference between section 17 and section 47. Now go and check if you think, go and check my previous responses. For example, a child not going to school because mom lost a job is a child in need case and is dealt with under section 17 in the UK, now in the context of the UK or England. On the other hand, a child with bruises, a child with a blue eye and was beaten by parents, statutory rape or sexual abuse is a child protection case with the provision set out by the UK Children's Act 47 of 1989, as I mentioned it earlier, if you are following these bruises. If looked after children, if looked after children, they fall under looked after child plan, LAC plan. So we have these 3 plans, guys. Agree on a child protection plan. If we agreed, a child will go to a hospital, get an update from other professionals. Other professionals will be teachers, other professionals will be medical team, your nurses, depending on what the LA, who the LA assigns, or your GP. Yeah? Have I done all tasks? all tasks I needed to. For example, if Monday child will be at school, etc., confirm if the child will be there, confirm with the school. No? You also need to think about the hazards, e.g., dogs, cats in the house. Check files for information regarding the place or the home you are going to, and call the family to lock away the dogs, etc. This I'm referring to when you have now to do a home visit to investigate, ne, following maybe a concern that was reported. Ne? It's part of the things you do. Decide if you want to go alone or with someone, depending on the on how complex the case is. If you will be seeing the child, make sure you have direct work with children tools such as crayons, papers, clay, etc., so that you gather information while the child is drawing, so that you gather information while the child is busy playing, but you are asking them questions. So as sometimes in what we call play therapy, you ask questions in play therapy, child answer, and you gather information. Make sure you clear everything you need to clear with your supervisor or need to address before the child protection visit. Ne, guys? You can add, I didn't say this is cut and spade, but I'm empowering you guys. How do you incorporate diversity and anti-discriminatory practice in your work? You can say you understand that the country you're in, maybe United Kingdom, have people from different cultures like myself, adding to a different background in South Africa. Likewise, I'll be meeting families from different cultures. I'll consider language barriers and use and interpreter sign language diversity in terms of language, race, gender, disability, sexuality, and be. I've worked in diversity. I've worked in Cape Town, and where the client doesn't understand me and is African speaking, which is, I think I got this question on interviews. I got even the others, ne? But I was told to do scenarios. So with this one, I think I made an example of how Cape Town is diverse, how I use a social auxiliary worker, okay, to interpret an Afrikaans one, or asked a colleague to accompany me, a colleague who speaks Afrikaans to accompany me. Even in this case, when you don't understand and diversity is an issue and you don't understand the language that they speak, just get a social worker that understands. You can also mention that you are sensitive to sexuality, you respect people with different sexuality. Sometimes you'll be working with a gay couple, with a lesbian couple. You can't bring your religion in. You cannot say you can't work with them because you are too holy to work with them. You will be deported back to your country. One day when I'm in a good mood, I will tell you, or when I have time, I will tell you my story of when I was a young social worker and I dealt with a gay couple, which was a lesson to learn in this profession. But you need to respect them. And again, you can also mention that in this role, you understand that there are people from different backgrounds who practice corporal punishment. What would you do with them? For example, I'm African. I cannot take to court a parent because they have practiced corporal punishment, but I should intervene. Maybe tell them how wrong it is, maybe send them to parenting classes so that they know that you don't have to beat a child, but you can give them time out, you can withdraw, or say they are not getting a phone or toys, things like that. So that's what it does. So you can say, you've suggested different strategies and appropriate strategies, for example, curfew, positive reinforcement, implementation of naughty corners. I do naughty corners with my nieces and nephews a lot. Implementation of naughty corners as an alternative means of discipline. Remember, you are in another country, not in Africa. So in the UK, you need to program yourself out to understand that working with families who practice this, um, we it will come up because we are getting diverse Africans are relocating, and sometimes they think it is okay to spank a child, etc. So just say you will explore the alternatives to empower them, ne, guys? Because yeah. Thirdly, in doing this, like I do in my current role, I will be ensuring that my own values and beliefs do not prejudice service users. Clients are called service users. As I said, you can't say, I'm a Christian, I can't work with a gay couple. You can't pray here. You know, in our countries, especially in South Africa, we get away with a lot of things. Singing, I'm a singer, praying with clients. We don't do it here. It's totally different. Um, You can also make an example that in my workplace in PAL, um, I would expect my colleagues to be sensitive to my background. Uh, for an example, I come from South Africa. There are some cultural days that we celebrate in South Africa, like the Youth Day, like the Heritage Day, etc. So the colleagues should let me celebrate these days and give me time out. So these things you will mention where when you talk about how to incorporate diversity and anti-discriminatory practice in your work, you also need to be accepted by the colleagues because you're diverse, you have your own days. Just like the Muslims, for example, celebrate Ramadan. How do you recognize neglect and how do you decide that enough is enough? You can answer that you recognize neglect when there is no sustained improvement to concern shared. You can make an example. I'm not going to give you a case. The impact that the lack of change has on the child, whether physical, emotional to the child, e.g. bullying, where the child is sitting alone, smelly, isolated, or become aggressive. Ne? Severity, if the house is constantly not clean for weeks, flies all over, the dishes have not been done for a week, enough is enough. You might have intervened, but you notice that for weeks there's no change. It becomes now a hygiene issue that will bring concerns of sickness to children because the house is dirty. When family has not been putting any effort, when advice and suggestions are not followed, this is enough. The child will have to be put on a plan. Another question is a registered professional. Remember, we're a registered professional, like in the medical profession, like in the occupational therapy, like in the ambulance, the paramedics profession, we register to practice. That is why nobody cannot be like us. Ne? As a registered professional, please tell us how you ensure that you remain accountable for the quality of service you provide to children and families and your own professional development by attending trainings continuously, by requesting feedback from service users you work with, by attending peer reviews and ask colleagues to give feedback on your work, by participating in group supervision, sharing views, by partnering with other experienced social workers, by appraisals in your work every quarter. Talk about your progress. Are you progressing or are you standing in one place? And also ensure that you show commitment to your CPD. Here, Social Work England always reminds you of when it's time for CPD points. So stick to that. Make sure make sure that you make use of supervision because the education and training aspect of supervision will bridge your knowledge gaps. Attend peer reviews, ask colleagues to give you feedback on your work, guys. And then another question is how do you manage your time and how do you manage stress? We all get stressed because we have our days of getting stressed. So you can answer and say, I understand that working in child protection is fast paced, as passionate as I am about it, but it is inevitable that social work can be stressful. Ne? And then you can say by avoiding things that cause challenges, ne? Especially in time usage. You can say you manage your time by planning ahead, plan visits in advance. You can say you identify what causes stress, poor organization, stress can elevate. You can say stress is caused by double booking. So you use a booking system to ensure time is managed well. You will be given a computer where you will diarize things. So you check every day what you are supposed to be doing that day. In fact, it carries your weekly plan, right? And then you can say, sometimes stress is caused by conflict, so you communicate with your colleagues openly to avoid stress. Stress is caused by making false promises to clients, so I'd avoid to make false promises to clients. And then you can also say, in the UK or England it may be difficult, so I find a map a day before to avoid stress. Driving can be difficult. It is really difficult, the driving. Really, really difficult. So I give colleagues a notice ahead. So to avoid stress, I all use these to try and manage my time and avoid stress, guys. Lastly, what do you do if you receive a referral from school saying a child has come with a mark on his trip and has stated that his mother has beaten her this morning? The child says this happens all the time. You can answer this by saying the Children's Act refers to it as gross impairment to the child's development, physically, emotionally, sexually, or through neglect attributed to the parenting that the child receives or does not receive. So the Children's Act makes provision for this, and it meets the description of child protection case because the child has suffered a significant harm, a physical injury that was caused deliberately by a parent. So what will you do? You can say, I will follow child protection procedures. Remember, there's harm. It's not like the teeth are dirty. It's not like it's hygienic. There is a bruise. So first of all, you can say, I will check with the referrer. If it was a school, you will check with the school to get an accurate information about the child's age, severity of the problem, in case, and also check if there is a need for medical attention. Check records in the office to avoid duplication. Has there been a case that has been reported under this family in the past, a concern that has been reported? Maybe there's a file existing. Okay, we don't carry files in Europe, but check your document, your soft copy, where you fold it. In fact, our documents stay in what we call mosaic. Yeah, you will learn when you are here. Check with your manager. All decisions need to be passed through the manager. From my knowledge, this requires a strategy meeting because it is a child protection case. Significant harm and injuries. Police, school, health professionals. This meeting is to decide on child protection inquiry or child protection investigation. We decide if we will do it police jointly or by myself singly. Investigation strategy meeting within 4 hours. Keep police because it is a criminal case. Ne? You can visit child within 24 hours. You can visit child and other siblings to do a risk assessment. If at risk, child has to be taken somewhere else, has to be placed. Guys, if parents are not remorseful, remove child, but if they are remorseful, leave the child at home but talk to them. If placing the child, if you decide you will be placing the child, go for child protection medical examination within 72 hours to check the severity, how severe they are, the injuries, guys. Are they consistent with the info from the child, and does the child need treatment? I'm going to close this video and I'm going to talk about the things you need to consider when doing assessments. I wasn't sure if I must make a video number 5 or I must talk about things that you need to consider during assessments in this video, because I tend to explain, to be explanatory, so I might say a lot of things, and while I say a lot of things, it might be a big video. So for now, let me close this video. Please like, share, and comment. May God bless you. Come and work in the UK. I know you can do this. You can do it. Né? And ask me any questions you have. I will empower you. I'll get empowerment and empower you. I'm not perfect. I'm still new at this, but at least I have knowledge. I did my master's degree in the UK and I studied child protection issues. There are little differences from where we come from, but you can integrate the knowledge, your own knowledge, to the knowledge here. Thank you, guys. I love you so much. God bless you.